Hey, what's up? Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. We have a few minutes left to the top of the hour. And before we close out the day or the night, I just want to give you guys a little information about two things. One, the Play Fashion Show has an episode that I, published yesterday. But most importantly, I just want to give you guys a little bit of some insight on what to expect for the next couple of days. For example, tomorrow you're going to be listening to Rashida talk about the food, the tasting, the chef, the story, like everything that she's done as a chef is going to be explained in full so that you guys have an idea of what to expect when you're coming for the fashion show, because every hour segment between 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. has a completely different setting or theme. So I don't want to say much right now, but each hour has something to offer. So within the first hour, we're going to have some information coming your way tomorrow so that you can tune in, listen more, and understand why or if you want to be a part of this. And there's so much to learn, there's so much to grow, there's so much networking to be done, and most definitely there's some fashion to be shown. So I want you guys to just gear up, take good care of yourselves, get your tickets. Go on Eventbrite, type in Play Fashion Show and you'll get it right there. All the information is right there for you. And do let us know, leave a feedback, you can contact us. And when I say us, I mean me and other people who are going to be on this podcast very soon, because it's going to get to a point where I'll be doing less of this and more of other stuff. But there'll be people that will be doing this podcast. So I'm just giving you guys little nuggets here and there because there's a lot to offer. And each day I'm just opening up this podcast channel to give you guys an insight of what to expect within the month and the months to come, so that you're not like, okay, what is this about? What is going on? I want to give you guys like consistent feedback so that you understand and we're all on the same page together. So number two, I was gonna talk about this very briefly, and it's on a branding tip. And first of all, shout out to Veza Digital, Veza Digital, and you can check them out too on Instagram. They give you some really, really good information. And what I was really thinking about telling you guys as a pro tip today is not just about what to do with Instagram and how you can, get your followers up and everything. That's fun. But most importantly, what are you giving people to consume? And how you do it depends on how your brand looks. Because somebody might see that and may not like it just because of how it looks at first, but they might want to click on it because there's something that they saw that caught their attention. So you kind of have to give the same content but give its value in two different ways that people can understand, give them options. So what Veza Digital was talking about today and what I was intending on talking about today was about the same thing, which is, what do you do when you overwhelm yourself? Like, there are things that are urgent, there are things that are important, there are things that are not urgent, there are things that are important and not important, and vice versa. But how do you segment all this four together? Like, if something isn't urgent and important, you gotta do it, because you know that if you don't do it, that time is gonna go and you won't have the opportunity to do that again. So the best thing for you is to do it, take that risk, and see the results come later than wonder what the results would have been like. Because people that are successful today took risks. Some had to drop out, some had to leave the house, some had to take a loan, some had to do drugs. Like, people had to do some crazy things to get out. But you have your story, so don't let anyone take that away from you, because that's you and that's unique. So if it's important, if it's urgent, do it now. Whatever it is, whatever you have in mind, just set that goal, set that intention, and make it happen. If it's not urgent but it's important, you got to plan it. And by planning it, I mean you got to write it down. You got to write down the information on a piece of paper. Like, it's good to have your notes, it's good to have your softwares, but you got to use a pen and paper, because there's some powerful logic between the mind and the pen, and how you comprehend whatever you want to say on paper. That's how people used to talk back in the day, so there was more value and precious information, which is still happening today, because people still write books, people have diaries. I do. So you just have to be consistent with what your planning is. So if it's not urgent and it's important, plan it, but make sure that it becomes to the point where it becomes urgent so you can do it. Like, you gotta raise that bar. You can't just keep planning and not doing. So those two gotta work. If it's urgent and it's not important, you gotta delegate. That's one thing that most people don't do, and I had the problem of doing that last year until I figured out a solution. So when you delegate, either when you're working or doing something for yourself, or just being overwhelmed, like I said in the beginning, you got to delegate. You got to see, okay, I can do this, but someone can do this as good or better than me, so why not? Then that eliminates time and stress on your part and gives you the reason to do other things with your time, which is yours anyways. So delegate. And the last thing, if it's not urgent, if it's not important, just drop it. Like, just forget about it. It's not that it's not important, it's not that it's not urgent, it's just that you don't need it. You don't really need it. And if you did, it would be important. So just drop it. And when you look at those things and understand what your metrics are and know what you want to do, then most importantly, you end up doing things that make you happy, that give you a passion, that give you a goal. And one thing that I believe everyone should have, everybody, as the way everybody has a Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, you should have a LinkedIn profile, because in the next couple of years, like LinkedIn will be really big. It is big right now, but it's really undermined because it's undervalued, and people don't know how to use it. And people that run ads on LinkedIn get higher success rates than people that do it on Facebook, if they're trying to get conversion or capital or investment or whatever you want to talk about, because there's a market for it. So all I'm saying is, do what you got to do, but make it work. And when you brand yourself like that on social media, use this app called Later. Go to later.com and you can download that, do what you want with it, schedule your stuff. I told a friend of mine, and I think I told two people, and now they're both using it, and they're like, oh, thank you. And I'm like, yeah, it's free information. Somebody told me, so I gotta tell somebody. But some things I find out, and I'll still tell you, because I know, okay, maybe this is information that you probably didn't know. So information is power. So I just like to communicate, and if you knew, you knew, so it doesn't harm you to know again. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say tonight. And it's almost midnight, so I'll keep you guys informed tomorrow about more stuff. Watch out for the interview with Rashida. It's gonna be fun. So I don't want to say too much. You can rewind this, you can check out the other episodes, but I'm definitely excited, because coming soon there'll be more stuff that we'll be unveiling as we open up this March episode series. So keep it locked, keep it tuned. Check out We Don't Play podcast on all podcast platforms. It's not only on your favorite platform, you can check it on other platforms too and see what variations are there. And just leave us a review. Leave something, leave a comment, say something. Whatever it is, it counts. A letter counts. So thank you so much for tuning in. I will definitely contact you guys tomorrow. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and stay safe. Have a good night.